like about the 1500 HD is it is a freaking workhorse. Got the dump bed so I can load up all the down trees from the storm we've had recently, haul one to the burn pile. Does a good job of being able to haul a lot of stuff and get work done around the farm. Dump bed for the win. I'm out with Busted Knuckle, and this is the Ranger 1500. Extreme duty. All right, we've been long-term testing this Ranger XD 1500 for the last 6 months. We've had it through all the seasons, from cold winter time to ice and snow to right now it's 90, almost 100 degrees here in Alabama, and we have seen it all. So I'm gonna let you know the differences in the machine, how it stood the test over the last 6 months, and what I love about it, and also what I hate about it. All right, this is not your normal Ranger. This is a Ranger 1500. The engine is a 1500 cc, what's like 1498. 1500 cc, 3-cylinder. It's basically the Pro R motor. They've chopped a cylinder off of it and made it into a 3-cylinder, and it makes 110 horsepower and around 100 foot-pounds of torque, which is plenty for this machine because it's using all that torque to pull 3,500 pounds with a 2-inch receiver on the back. And then you've got this gigantic bed. This is the biggest bed a Ranger has ever offered. With a tailgate you can actually sit on and put some weight on and not worry about it falling. It'll hold over, I think it's like 500 pounds on the tailgate. The bed can hold 1,500 pounds. And like I said before, 3,500 pounds pulled with that hitch is a lot. Did I mention I had a tilt bed? The biggest change on this Ranger, besides basically the entire vehicle, is the new steel drive transmission. Now, this thing is like a CVT, but completely different. It's computer controlled in how everything shifts in there, but is a full steel belt. There is no rubber belt to have to worry about. It is a oil-bathed transmission, so it has a 6,000 mile interval in changing oil in there, and I've never had a side-by-side that I put 6,000 miles on, so that's a long time. You don't have to worry about that. It's got different drive modes in it to help with the shifting of the transmission. I've had no issues with it so far. Now, another thing you're gonna notice is the suspension. Now, A-arms on the 1500s are arched, and they're arched way over here closer to the tire, so you have a lot of ground clearance, 15 inches actually. Now, these machines are pricey. They start out at 30 grand for the base model. Now, this is a Ranger 1500 Northstar Ultimate, and it retails, as it sits, 45 grand. Now, for that 45 grand, this is what you get. Now, you got this nice cold blowing AC, which is super important because it feels like 100 degrees in Alabama right now at the end of June, and it is rough. So you gotta have that AC, and this makes me wanna buy one of these or an Expedition ASAP. And as you can tell, I'm having a conversation with the camera, with you guys watching at home, and I can actually talk in here, and I'll got her in park, I'll rev it up a little bit. That's all you're gonna hear in here. It's not that loud, especially compared to like an Expedition or something like that. It's very quiet in the cab thanks to that 3-cylinder motor. Got the nice cold AC blowing on us. The AC controls on this thing are way better than anything I've seen before. I mean, you got, turn that sucker all the way up. You can actually control where you want, whether you want defrost, down at your feet and up. I mean, it's nice. You can circulate the air that's already inside the cab, make it cool off or heat up a little bit faster. So all this stuff is super nice. You got full power windows, so you can roll the windows up and down. That's all right here at the push of a button. One of the really cool things is with the Ultimate, you get the, of course, flip out windshield. In case you want to just bring the elements in. I do not. I don't like the elements. It's hot out there. Yeah, I did crack the windshield. I'm sorry, Polaris. I didn't mean to do that. I think a rock slung off my dually tire and took out the windshield, so that's my bad. They got a slot for your phone up here. You just throw that bad boy in right there, and it'll stay right there while you're cruising around on the trails, which we're about to do here in a second. You gotta know, with Busted Knuckle, we're not just gonna walk around this thing and talk about it. We're gonna go put it through its paces too, and we have done that in the last 6 months, and we're pretty impressed with it. There's some things I like, some things I didn't like about it, so stay tuned, we're gonna get to that. Another thing you got is you got a rear auxiliary deal in the bed, and you can actually turn that on and off. The windshield wiper deal is really nice. You got a windshield wiper, you can hold the button down and spray some fluid on there, but I have used every bit of it, so that's not gonna work. But it does spray fluid on the windshield, which is awesome, actually having a tank for that. I just need to fill mine up. And yeah, you got your winch controller down here, which is super nice. It's one of their 6,000 pound winches from Polaris, and it actually has an auto deal that stops it when you're pulling in the winch cable, so that way it doesn't over tighten it, which is really nice. Something you don't see on a lot of winches. But yeah, the cab's got some USB ports in here. Normal 12 volt setup. Like I said, there's a 12 volt in the bed. You got extra storage. There's a big glove box there. Glove compartment up there that's actually got gloves in it. Look at that. Little storage pockets on the side. All kinds of nice stuff. The seats, plenty of nice bolstering on them. The seats feel really good. I like the seats a lot. You got just a little what I call a chase light. It's a bed light, so you can see what's going on back there, but you can also, if it's really dusty conditions, flick that sucker on and make sure everybody behind you can see you and not run into you in all the dust. So, of course, the same ride command that you see in a lot of these. Lots of nice gauges to go through. You can cycle through, do different things. It's got a backup camera, so you can see that. Tailgate's down right now. So the tailgate's down, you can actually see what you're backing up to for the hitch, which is really neat. Of course, you got your fog lights on the front. And then you got your bed controls here. We'll put the bed back down. They did a good job with the lighting package on these to make them actually look cool. I mean, a Ranger 1500 is not as cool as a, you know, big time Razor and all that stuff, but like, at least they did the lighting package to make them look somewhat cool. And then of course you gotta love the camo, especially if you're a hunter. There's actually plenty of room in the cab. They've actually made it a little more spacious. The doors are super slim, which helps a lot with that, and also made the cab a little bit longer. So you got extra room in here. The seats actually slide forward and back. You've got this nice little center console, so you let somebody ride with you there. You got a full seat belt for it, or you can get your little under seat storage here, which there's some moldy food down there. That's probably for my kids. I'll try to get that out before I take it back. Got a spot where I guess you can put a 5-gallon bucket in the cab with you if you want, and that's why this is here where it'll sit up. You got your fuse block there, so you can get to all your fuses if you need to. Haven't had any issue with any of that. Nice spacious cab, whether you're working, hunting, doing whatever it is you're doing. Plenty of room in there. The air conditioning system works great. Heater works great. Another thing that you get on these, the Ultimate Northstars, is this sucker has heated seats, which you don't need them right now because it's 100 degrees in Alabama, but when it was cold this winter, we used those heated seats quite a bit, and they are amazing to have that in a side-by-side. Never thought that was going to be a thing, but here they go in a Ranger 1500. There you go. Heated seats, 3 levels of heated seats. I'm not going to leave those on. So you can do your display brightness up and down, which is super nice. So pretty cool, all the automotive style functions they have as far as the gauges go. All these gauges are customizable. You can put whatever you want, wherever you want. Shows you engine temperature, transmission temperature, all that good stuff. The parameters that you're worried about are on the screen at all times so that you can make sure everything's good, which not much to worry about on these, but it's always a good peace of mind. I like information, so I like to have the gauges set up the way I like. The roof is well insulated. Got a nice little in-cab light here, very automotive-like LED. So super nice. Got the whole, of course, the headache rack back here. Now these come with Polaris's new lock and ride system, and they have every accessory imaginable to make sure that you can make your Ranger 1500 do whatever it is that you need to do, whether it's hunt, work, whatever it is. They have the accessories that'll mount in this bed to make it work. I mean, I think you can even put like a rooftop tent on one of these, which would be pretty cool. And the headache rack in the back is actually more crucial than you would think, because I've had this thing piled up to here with sticks and stuff here at the farm, taking them to the burn pile, and I wouldn't want those to end up in the cab with me or break any more windows for Polaris to fix. Sorry guys. I really like the integrated little side steps with the boot grips here. So you can basically just step on that little guy, step on the back tire, get anything you need to out here, work up here, unhook stuff. So it makes it nice. But that's enough talking. Let's go ride. About the Ranger is it has all the different drive modes, which helps the transmission as well as throttle input. Let's see, we got standard, comfort, sport. I've tried sport, and you also have a push button that puts her in tow haul. And now tow haul is supposed to make it engage a little earlier and then really, like, I guess unleash the power that you can put out. It's not really as limiting, so I like to drive around sport and tow haul. That might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's like the hack to make it actually perform like something fun to drive instead of just a work machine. So here we go. And as you can tell, I mean, I'm cruising through our property here at the farm. We got about 100 acres to play around on and hunt and hit trails and stuff. So this has been the perfect machine. I've been doing a lot of work here, building a shop and everything else. I got an update video coming on that here pretty soon. But I mean, we have put this thing through its paces out here, clearing trees, pulling trees, doing all kinds of stuff. And it's really been a helpful machine to have. One of the nice things is this thing's got basically like a turf mode, and you can lock and unlock the rear diff, of course. So you can lock and unlock it as well as the four-wheel drive system independently. So if you're not wanting to tear up the grass, you can make it where it's just one-wheel drive, or if you're really worried about tearing up the grass, you just put it in one-wheel drive in the rear and then full drive in the front, and that way it's, you know, open, and it pulls really good. You can go places really easily and not have to worry about tearing up the grass or anything like that. Of course, we don't really have a problem with that here at the farm because we don't have any grass. We have weeds and trees. Oh, and down trees. So yeah. I don't know if I can get around that guy. Or under it. I don't think I can get under it either. Made it. You gotta love a cab, man. It's just, like I said, it's 100 degrees here in Alabama. Feels like it. And I just like some air conditioning. I don't know if that's because I'm getting older or what the deal is, but it's just nice. And you know, I'm cruising through these trails that don't get a whole lot of action. We're still kind of in the early phases of building trails and stuff out here, so we don't ride a ton. So a lot of the trails and access trails get grown up, especially when we're in our rainy season, which we just kind of finished up. And man, there'd be bugs and crap all over me at this point, and weeds and everything else. And so I can take the whole family out in this thing and just go ride around and check out the farm and look at deer and turkey and all that good stuff. And man, it's nice. You don't get all nasty and hot. So I'm really gonna hate to see this one go. But I think 6 months is probably long enough. They're probably ready for me to give it back, even though I would love to keep it indefinitely. So we're cruising along about 20 miles an hour. You can tell it is super quiet in this cab. Like, I don't have to talk super loud. You can carry on a conversation with somebody behind you. No issue whatsoever, which is really nice. Compared to a lot of other machines on the market, they are super loud, so it makes things really handy. The suspension feels really good on this thing, way better than like any other Ranger I've ever driven. I feel like they got the suspension set up a lot better on this. It's, like I said, it's heavy duty, so it's gonna be a little harsher, but it's just like, it doesn't really bottom out. I'm hitting a couple little washouts and stuff from drainage here on our little access road, and it's just not having any issue with it at all. No bottoming out, nice and comfy. You know, got plenty of power to rip around in the woods and get where you need to go. So due to the heavy capacity of these things, and of course it's a whole new chassis that's a lot heavier duty in order to handle the payload and the capacity of these things, they weigh 2,800 pounds dry weight. So you're looking at around 3,000 pounds, you know, with me in it and oil and everything else. It's gonna be up there. So it's a heavier machine, but you know, that's what you're gonna expect when it comes to being able to haul what this thing can haul. And maybe that's why the suspension feels so good on this thing. It doesn't feel rickety at all. Maybe because it's the chassis is just so firm that it's not flexing much. The cab is closed up really good, except for I've been having, every time it rains, I get water leaking out of this area. I don't know what it is or something that they have a fix for, but man, it leaks so much, it's ridiculous. But that's the only issue I've really had as far as the cab goes. Well, I was just cruising around out here at the farm, and there was a couple trees we cut on a trail. And with a gigantic hole in the tire, so that kind of ruins our testing for the day. Oh, what am I gonna do about that? Well, just like probably most off-roaders, I don't ever use ramps in my trailer. Well, mostly because one, just like, I think both of them left the chat at some point on one road trip. So every machine I've ever had, other than a Razor 200, never used ramps on this trailer and go just fine. But this thing, not having low range to put it in, it struggles. It's in tow haul, it's in sport. Let me show you what I mean. I was telling you how I drip water out of this thing. It comes, see that? I don't know why it drips right there. Weird. Now, you'll get around in the Ranger 1500, but if you're looking to really play hard and you want to keep up with your buddies and Razors and Expeditions and all that good stuff, then the Ranger might not be right for you, because it's probably one of the more sketchy things that I've driven off-road. Not saying that anything is wrong with it, it's just not as off-road capable. It's leaned way more towards work. So if you work your machine 75% of the time, you dabble in a little bit of riding, nothing crazy, nothing hard, then this might be the machine for you, because it is a work machine. Not having low range and all that good stuff, I mean, that's just a big reason why it's not as capable off-road. Now, we get around the trails here at the farm, no problem. Even after big rains, it'll go up hills. You know, we don't got any of the crazy trails with it, but it's fairly capable, just not as capable as other machines within the Polaris platform. Now, here's another example of why an enclosed cab machine is awesome. Like, we had some rain here at the farm. We got all these really tall weeds out here on some of our food plots, and if I was in any other machine, I'd be soaking wet and or have grass all over me, but I am very comfortable, nice and cool with the AC blowing, and it's really nice. Does anybody know if they got a bush hog attachment for one of these bad boys? I think that might be what I need, which would be the perfect thing. Put one of those standalone bush hog deals you just drag behind the Ranger. Would be perfect out here. Maybe I look into getting one of those, because the weeds out here are starting to get a little out of hand. All right, we've been getting a lot of limbs here. They had to cut a bunch of trees down for power line access, so I'm gonna pull. Got a bunch of branches. We're gonna pull them. See how the Ranger does. That's probably not a crazy amount, but not something I'd want to move by hand, that's for sure. All right. Got it all pulled up here out of the way. I'll get her unhooked, push her off in the burn pile, and be ready to get some more. All right, I'm going to take you up one of the probably the easier trails we have here at the farm. We call it Why Not, because it goes up the hill and then splits. Got a lot of water running down through it right now. But we just had a bunch of rain. See how it does. Hopefully I don't pop another tire. A little muddy right there. Oh. Tree over there I got on. So as you can see from this being one of the easier trails we have, it's already struggling quite a bit. It's just, you know, feels like a slip in the clutch, even though it probably isn't. It's just the way it feels. But I don't know, kind of sketchy. Remember that part where I have a tendency to get myself stuck between a rock and a hard place? Well, case in point, Why Not trail. Can't back up, tree. Can't go forward, bed. So I guess that means we're gonna get out our trusty winch that comes equipped on the Ranger 1500 XD. All right, I got my winch line hooked up. Put my seatbelt on. Trying to keep us off of this tree. I'm not trying to. I already owe Polaris a tire and a windshield. I'm not trying to add bedside to that. If we can help it. So we're gonna try to ease out of here, put her in drive. She's in tow haul, so she should engage quicker. So let's see what happens. Got the nice controls in here. That ain't working. All right, I'm starting to break a sweat now. So I got myself out of one hairy situation and into another. Now I gotta get over this log and not flip over in this ditch. So yeah, Ranger 1500. I'm gonna move the winch line back up where it was and see if I can't pull myself forward and not flip myself over. All right, after really testing out my winch skills, I got to where maybe it's not gonna roll over now. I just gotta finish the trail. Whew, that was way too much work. So I had this big tree laying down, a dead one I had to go over. Actually unlocking the rear end made it where it didn't want to tip over. And I decided to use the winch, but hey, we got up here. Hopefully we do the rest of the trail. I don't know. Yeah, well, this thing needs long travel, something bad. But then you long travel it and you put like 35s on it. Do they make the parts to re-gear it so they work good with 35s? Or are you stuck with this thing feeling like a 1997 Ford Ranger letting out the clutch? Like, I don't know, man. I just feel like long travel would help it a ton. I feel like everywhere I go, I about smack the tree roof with a tree. Like that one. I'm getting really close to it. I don't like it. Damn, this was an easy trail too. I don't know what's going on. Oh, it was a long gap, huh? Sketchy! Ah, holy crap, that is super sketchy. Huh. I keep lifting a tire on this Ranger, like literally every little hole. This has gotten washed a little bit, so it's a little more difficult than I remember, but golly, this is crazy. Ooh, sketchy. I think at least one tire's been off the ground this entire trail. I think we can do it. I think we're almost out. Woo! All right, catch another gear. Let's go. All right, we had to winch up 2 different spots of why not. Wow. Yeah, if you're looking at this machine and you want it just for work, this is probably your unit. But if you want to do any kind of difficult, even moderately difficult trails in it, I think you're better off with a regular Ranger or something like an Expedition. Did I forget to mention the brakes on this thing are phenomenal? It's probably because you look up in here, that's a little brake booster in there. I don't think they've ever had that in a side-by-side before, and the brakes work great. Of course, if they expect you to be able to haul 3,500 pounds, which means red deck math, you can haul 5,000 pounds like your boat or something like that, or a rock bouncer, then you're gonna have to put some good brakes on here, and they did that, so. All right, let's go over a few of the things I love and hate about the XD 1500. All right, obviously the first thing I love about the Ranger 1500 Northstar is the cold blowing AC and the adjustability of all the controls. Like, this is some good, like, automotive quality air conditioning, and it works really well. Now, part of what makes this thing work so well is the radiators up here up front. There is a giant radiator to keep the engine cool, a trans cooler to keep the transmission cool, as well as make sure that that thing has long service intervals. So, like I said, 6,000 miles is a lot before you have to change the fluid in it. Then you also have one up there that's AC condenser, and that just makes the AC that much better. I mean, they're huge, stacked up here in the very front, triple stacked, and they work really well. The second thing I love about the Ranger XD is just the sheer size of it. I mean, I'm 6'2" and pretty long-legged, and I have plenty of room in here. It's super comfortable, so I really like that. Third thing I love about it is the tilt bed, the massive tilt bed, because no one wants to unload this by hand after you've loaded it completely with limbs from the farm to put in the burn pile. Fourth thing I love about it is how quiet the motor is. I mean, it might sound loud now because the dump bed is up, but inside the cab, it's not loud at all. I mean, super quiet in here. You can have an adult conversation, no problem. Fifth thing I love about it is that it comes factory with a winch, because I get myself some pretty hairy situations and a winch is always handy to have. Okay, a bonus thing of things that I like the phone slot up here, but when it's hot outside, your phone will overheat in that slot. So I recommend putting it in this slot. And I also like the fact that they have all of that, and then the cup holders, you know, here, another phone slot. Like, I like the ergonomics of the things that they've done inside this machine to make it easier to work with. You got, you know, little spots up here to put things, so just make it a lot more user-friendly. And that brings me to the 5 things I hate about it. Hate is a strong word. I dislike about the Ranger 1500. First off, being the shifter. Like, it is super buttery smooth. Like, I mean, easy shifting, no problem at all. But it is so backwards to me. After being in a Razor, this makes no sense. Park is all the way back, drive is all the way forward. I couldn't tell you how many times I have been sitting somewhere and think I'm about to get out of this thing and it's in drive and I think it's in park. I don't know why they did it that way. Maybe because driving, the shifter is forward, so it's out of your way. But it's very counterintuitive to me in my brain when it comes from somebody that drives Razors a lot. The second thing I dislike is, man, the steel drive transmission. I just don't like the way sometimes it's like it's searching for like slipping the clutch or slipping the belt, or it's just, you're on a hill and it's not wanting to go. Like, I don't know. I just come from somebody that has driven a lot of CVT machines, and even like the new Can-Am Maverick R. Like, I don't care for the steel drive transmission. I'm sure it's heavy duty and that's great, and you'll probably get used to it, but it's just not something that I really like that much. Third thing I disliked is, I don't know why, but this thing right here leaks water. Every time it rains, water leaks from right here. I don't know what the problem is, but it's no fun to have your knees getting wet while you're driving around in a machine that's supposed to be a fully enclosed cab that doesn't leak. It's sealed. So hopefully they got a fix for that, but that's just something that kind of bothered me in the 6 months that we've had it. Fourth thing that I dislike is obviously the price. I'm kind of a budget guy, trying to pay for a farm and build a shop on it, and 45 grand is just kind of out of my wheelhouse when it comes to getting a machine to ride around out here. And having air conditioning is important. So I guess I could get one for 40 grand. It's not an ultimate, but man, that's still a lot of money. Another thing I didn't like about the Ranger 1500 is the lack of low range. I mean, I guess that would have added complexity to make a low range, but I mean, and they say you put it in tow haul mode and the transmission will pull at a lower RPM and engage better. I don't know. I just didn't have that feeling from it. I feel like a low range would have been really helpful, so you could do the technical stuff, you could do the slow speed pulling of something out, like if you got to pull a stump up or anything like that. I just think it would do better with a low range. So I was a little disappointed when I found out it did not have a low range. Another little issue that I've noticed on this machine is the driver window. It goes down just as fast as the passenger, but going up, it's kind of slow. Could just be something with the motor or something in there making it a little slower, but it just struggling a little bit. It still works though. I wouldn't think it would be that slow. I don't know what the deal is with that. This also happened. They might never send me another machine after this, but 6 months is a long time to figure out, kinks on things. But this little guy is supposed to slide in the door and be a door stopper so it doesn't go all the way open. Well, it failed in the first probably month that we had it. And so sometimes it catches it, sometimes it doesn't. You might also notice that, there's only park, reverse, and drive on this thing, which I always forget to put it in park because it's backwards to a Razor. But in order to get it in neutral, if something's wrong with it, you need to flat tow it somewhere or recover it or anything like that, or just want to roll it around the shop, you have to come down here. It's got a little cover that's removable from right here. And then you got to like pull and twist this lever here to get it in neutral. So that's different. So who's the Ranger 1500 for? I think it's for, the boss man on the job site to cruise around in, stay air conditioned, still be able to, carry around big generators, do a lot of work with it, and not have any issues. You know, have a long time before you had to do a lot of maintenance to it. People that have ranches, farms, it's been amazing here on the farm. We've taken it to races and hauled the kiddos around and done all that with it, and that was super nice to have as a support vehicle for our races. And we've used the crap out of it here at the farm, you know, cutting down trees, hauling limbs, pulling trees with a hitch. I mean, we've done so much with the machine. I almost hate to see it go. I mean, if there was one that I could keep, I would probably choose this one just because I like it that much. Now, a crew would be even better to have 4 seats in there because need a little more space. Now, if I was going to keep this machine, the first thing that I would do is they come with 30-inch tires on them, and most of them usually keep air in them. They come with 30-inch tires on them. They will fit a 32. That's an option from Polaris. I think they have in their little upgrade section. You can put 32s on them, but some 35s would be really nice on one of these. I think 35s, if you could long travel one of these, would be pretty nice and make it super stable, but you can still work with it a bunch, because face it, at this point, you know, all the trails and everything are built out to be wide anyway, so having something this narrow really doesn't make sense for us, at least where we're at. I'm sure up north where you have trails that are narrow, or, you know, only narrow width, it makes sense. But I think long travel one of these on some 35s, some work with some bed rack stuff in the back to make it a little more user-friendly for me to haul gear and all of our stuff and coolers and things like that. I think would be really neat. But I like the low maintenance of it. I think that's really neat. They did the work to make all that work. The AC in it works amazing, which is important to me. Heated seats is killer in the wintertime. So I think it's an overall really cool machine, and it's the first one out, so they're gonna have a little bit of hiccups here and there that I'm sure they're gonna take care of, because those guys at Polaris know what they're doing. But yeah, that's my take on the 1500 Ranger XD. If you guys want to see more YouTube review videos, be sure to subscribe, check everything out, hit up our link for some merch, bustedknucklegear.com, and as always, thanks for watching. Hey, that's enough talking. Let's what am I doing? Am I like a rookie or something here? Golly. Okay.